Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Saturday live stream. So today, just like the title and thumbnail suggests, I'm going to show you why this so far has been the weakest bear market we have ever had. And before I go on, I have to say that Kamikaze Kid said it right. This thumbnail is going to invoke that dump. Here's the thing. It's still weak. It doesn't really matter if there is a dump coming or not. We're going to see how bad it can actually get. But right now, it's pretty weak. So that might not sound realistic. And I get it, because if this is your first or second, or even your third, like mine, it still feels brutal. It feels awful. And I get that. But we'll see just how it is. So right now, just for posterity, Bitcoin, you already know this. It's almost 70,000, and we've taken quite a hit this week. I think we dropped almost 20% or so in the last, 11% in 7 days. But it was 20%, I think, at the lowest point, so not looking too good. And what I was going through is because as you go through things and you've been there for quite some time, you tend to forget the minute details. So we all know what or how much downgrade for the price action for Bitcoin over the last 4-year cycles. And in cycle 1, we hit a top of on November 2013 for $1,000 roughly, 1.1. And from the top of November 2013 to 2015, we dropped 85%. Imagine that. You have $1,000 and all of a sudden you have 172. Sounds like a meme coin just about. But that is essentially the first one. And I remember these things, hear about in history. I wasn't around for the first one, but I was around for the second one. And in 2017, all I remember is it going down and dropping to 84%. I remember buying at 8,000 and then 12 and then 17.5. And I didn't buy the absolute top, but I would have, but I ran out of money. And it dropped 84%. And I remember that year, it was pretty brutal. It went from 15th of December 2017 to 16th of December 2018 for the low for that cycle. And then 2021, I think almost all of us can remember this. Again, took about a year and pretty much to the day, isn't that amazing? 9th of November 2021 to 9th of November 2022, we dropped 77%. So I remember the highs, the lows, but what I forgot about was just how fast and brutal the first ones were compared to this. And what we're going to do is we're going to break this down from the drawdowns from the all-time high. And I'm going to show you how, you know what, it's not too bad, because like we're going to go over the 2013, 17, 2021, 25, and I'm going to show you again just how bad these numbers can get. But so far, it's not too awful. Just stick with me. We'll get there. So we're going to go back to 2013. Everything's great. People don't really know what this internet nerd money is as far as Bitcoin goes. But there's a nice little rally. And we went from essentially Zippo to $1,162, whatever it was. And then it dropped from the peak on November 2013. And it dropped 50%. And you know how long it took? It took roughly 20 days to drop 50%. Now you're saying, well, Rob, this doesn't count because this is the very first one and it was so volatile, and you are correct. But 50% seems to be the standard, but it's the time frame. And then, of course, what you'll notice about all these different rallies is that, or drop-offs or drawdowns, you'll have a nice little rally. And it's kind of like the market saying, would you like to leave? You can leave right now. It's okay. I won't hold it against you. If you want to leave, just take it, take your opportunity. And it'll rally up, and some people take it, but most don't. And you see a nice little rally here. Look at that. Ooh, nice, very nice. And then it goes down again, and you get 65% to April. And then there's a rally, and the market's telling you, hey, you can get out. I won't stop loving you. That's fine. And you say no, and it goes down 75%. Then there's another little rally, and it's like, okay, last chance, punk. You want it or not? Nope, I don't want it. Great. You're down 84% or 85% total. So that was cycle 1. And that's brutal. Whoever went through that and made it, hats off to you. Man, that's amazing. So now we have 2017. And we topped out around December 15th, somewhere around there, at around 19,600. And then, and I remember this, everybody was so excited about the CME group or CBOE coming in and going, hey, we're going to do futures. And it just wrecked the whole market. And because of that, from December 15th, 2017, to go down 65%, it took roughly a month and a half to do that. And I'd forgotten all about this because I was like, because when I was in the moment, I just saw it just go. And I thought back then, I thought I was going to go to zero because I didn't really know. I hadn't even done my research about Bitcoin, but 65% in like 6-7 weeks. Can you imagine that? 65%. And then of course there's a rally and it's like, hey, Rob, would you like to get out? I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. So no. And then it'll go down, another rally. You want to get out, Rob? No. Okay, I'm going to punish you. You want to get out? No. No. And then it goes down to 84%. So that's essentially where we go for 2017. So you see the first one, you're down 50% in 20 days. Next one, you're down 65% in a month and a half. But let's go to 2021, which is where most of us remember. And again, we were down 77%, and it was awful. I mean, FTX, Voyager, Celsius, BlockFi, all that collapsed. Luna, 3 Arrows Capital, you name it, it happened. And guess how long it took to go from the high to the first 50% drop off? Well, November 9th to mid-January. So you had November, December, January. 2 months and about a week or so. Roughly 2 months to go down 50%. That was brutal. I mean, not as bad as the last cycle. Probably why I stuck around. 65% in like 5 weeks, 6 weeks. And here we are going down 50% in just a couple of months. And then, of course, it does the same thing. There's a rally. You want to get out? No. Okay, well, I'm going to drop. We're going down to 72%. And then from June until November, it was just a sideways chop of accumulation. That's pretty much where I made a good amount of gains because I lowered my cost basis and just was buying this whole time. Now, I did make a mistake. I think everybody knows this. I did this thing called micro DCing, which was dumb. And I should have just kept buying more and more and more. That's what I'm doing now. But who knows? People are saying that, hey, Rob, you need to wait for the 200-week moving average. Yeah, you're probably right. But I'm going to do what I need to do for this time. And when the 200-week and 250-week and even 300-week comes in, I've got a plan for that. So we have done all this. We've taken a look at it. 50% in like no time, 65% in like 4 or 5 weeks, then 50% in 2 months. Now here we are, 2025. The top was October 6th. It was roughly 126,000, somewhere around there. Correct me in the comments. And guess how long it took to drop to 50%? It took 4 months. October to November, November to December, December to January, January to February. To get down to 50%, it took double the amount of time that it took in any other bear market. And you can say, oh, well, Rob, that's not really, it's still awful, it's still brutal. Was it? There was a lot of opportunities to get out. I even did a video where I said, I would like you to get out. Because if you feel like this is too much for you, you should probably get out of this market. And this wasn't some like, I know somebody in the comments said, Rob is so condescending, he told us to get out. I was trying to tell you that this is the market speaking to you and saying, if you'd like to get out, here's your opportunity. You can sell a little bit or whatever you want to do and get back at some point when you're not so freaked out. And that was it. So we take a look at this and we know that this is a bear market. It's not as fast and as brutal as I think as the other ones have been, but it is still brutal because we're here in the now. Which leads me to my last point. Where are we going? Because everybody's saying, well, just wait for the 200-week moving average. You know what people also told me? Or what I hear a lot of, which was just follow these indicators and it'll tell you like where the top is. None of those indicators worked. Pi cycle top didn't bling. MVRV Z-score didn't bling. 12 multiple. Even risks didn't really work out too hot. So the same people that tell me to wait for the 200-week moving average are the same ones that didn't tell me or didn't have a clue about when to get out. Okay. Anyhow, so if we take a look here and go back historically speaking, if we're going to go down, you know, because remember, it was 85%, and then we had 83% and 77%. What if we just went down 60% from its all-time high? That would put us at 50,400. What about 70%? That'd be 37,800. 77%, 29, 80, 25, and 85, 19,000. So that would be it right there. And as a reminder, taking a look at this, if we went down and we did the 200-week moving average, that would be $58,000. And we were pretty close to that already. So if you wait for that, sure, I can see it. But for these type of percentage differences, we're looking at going to 250, 300 week, and maybe even the 350 and 400 week, which coincidentally, we have never actually gone to whatsoever. So if that's the case, I could see it, but I'm just saying, if we go historically speaking down this much, this is the prices that we're looking at. I know people would say, well, it wasn't a blow off top, so why would we go on 85 or 80%? Well, cycle's weird, man. This was one I was talking about, how Bitcoin has never dropped below the election day price. And that has never happened except for this week. The election day price of the current administration, that price on November 5th, 2024 was $69,432. We went to 59,000, 10,000 below that. So I know, like I'm saying, like this is the weakest bear of all time. Initially, things can get worse. And it's all up to us to figure out where we're going to go. And that's it for today. So, oh, one more thing I should say. If for all these things that we're talking about, I would remind everybody, what I'm doing is I'm still dollar cost averaging dynamically, but I have a chunk of cash saved away for if we go to the 250, because I know we're going to get, I think we're still going to hit the 200-week moving average. We might not, because I never can trust anybody. But if we do, I got a big tranche for that. If we get 250 week, I have a tranche, and 300 and 350 week, I also have set aside funds for that. And because of that, as a reminder, if you're looking to lower your cost basis and buy different cryptos and digital assets, just remember that if you'd like to do something like that with like a Roth IRA, like with iTRUST, just know that you can actually contribute only $7,000 if you're below the age of 50, or if you're above the age of 50, you can do $8,000 per year, and you have until April 15th to contribute to 2025. And then if you want to continue to contribute to 2026, you can do so at any time, actually. So you can put in either $14,000 or $16,000. And what's great about a Roth IRA is that it is tax-free, and that's all types of crypto, Bitcoin, gold, and silver. Links in the description. Also, I use them for storage. And that's it for today. So look, if you like today's video, who knows if you did, give it a thumbs up, consider subscribing. We talk about it's time sensitive. Now let's do a little Q&A. It'll answer our questions, and we'll go from there. Waffles says, now you're just antagonizing the bears. I'm not antagonizing the bears. I guess maybe so. But I mean, like, it has been, I mean, technically speaking, as far as like the intensity and time frame, hasn't been too bad. All right. Green Blue says Silver's second act is going to make people question banks at the end of February. March, we find out who died on Thursday, I hope. Interesting. I don't know what that means. In March, we find out who died on Thursday. Remember Jesus? All right. It just started. The drops will get worse. Well, could be. All right. Mr. Mir and I are the way to the pickleball court, see in the AM to walk the dogs. That sounds good. Yeah. And this is another good point. If everyone uses the same indicator and the indicator becomes invalid, well, I mean, it's to a point. It's kind of like, you know, hitting all-time highs and everybody starts to sell off. That seems to always happen. It seems like everything negative that happens with an indicator happens if too many people use it. But with the 200-week moving average, I mean, think about that. How many people are looking at that and just going, okay, that's my price point? How many of you are thinking about that? I think about that quite a bit. I think, wow, 200 moving average. Yeah, I could see that. 250 and 300 a week. I mean, we've done those before. The 350 and 400, we've never used those, or we've never hit those levels. So maybe this is the first time. But yeah, I think a lot of people will look at that 200 a week and start to buy there if it goes down to it. And then we'll see. Or unless, what would be really funny is if the whales manipulate the market enough and there's all this great longing and shorting and derivatives and options and swaps, and they can do everything that they want to do to it to make the market not hit that moving average so they can buy it all up, but who knows? This is why, like, the people behind the scene who really control it, it's not us. We're just peons, let's be honest. We're just some serfs, the plebs that are just out there taking care of the Shire. It's the ones that move the money around and really do what they want to do. I have no ability to know that. That's why, like, the only safe version for me is just to dynamically DCA and just keep doing that. If I wait until like a 200 moving average, it makes a lot of sense. Trust me, it does. That's why I have money put away. But I would be really ticked off if I wasn't buying some type of Bitcoin at these lower prices. What if it just shoots off like a rocket? Who knows? Let's see. I don't know. Farrell Weed says, in my opinion, anything below 70 is worth buying. And years from now, who will really care? Yeah, we'll see. Ashley says, this is the 5th red month. There should be a green month anytime now. I hope that's true. Fat Sonic says, is there a consensus on how the tax season affects markets? Well, you know, people would always talk about how, you know, all the big money has to sell off before the end of the year so they can do tax loss harvesting. And that's why you see most of like everything kind of end off towards the end of the year. And if you take a look at, I mean, the 4-year cycles, it ended in when? Well, November, December, November again, and now October. So that pretty much stands to reason for that. And if you take a look at the traditional markets, you can see that a lot of different things do happen in December. There's a reason why they say sell in May and go away, and you come back around October, buy up all the low stuff, and then sell before the year's over. So makes sense. But there's always someone to throw a wrench in that. Shoots off like a rocket. Anything below 50 is worth buying. How about this? I'm just going to say, this is going to sound crazy. Anything below 10K, Bitcoin 10,000 would be a pretty good buy. Crazy, right? Yeah, we're just holding our cups out to catch the splash in the whales. Kelby says, I already have retirement pensions and investment in a health savings account. That's great. I don't like having to wait to put my profits to use. Maybe I should be more aware of what I'm giving the government and open an IRA. Ugh. I'll just say this. I don't know why we're giving so much money to the government and taxes when they don't know what the heck they're doing with it. And it just apparently just goes through fraud and abuse. So it's like, why am I giving it to you guys? And you're just taking my hard-earned money and giving it to somebody who is essentially screwing over the system. I would say that I'll give you your money when you figure out what's going on in your house. It's a nice theory. It doesn't stand up. I would like to do it though. Scud says 2 years ago, I would say I would sell at 130K, which was the most conservative, high estimate of this past cycle. We didn't quite hit that. To be honest, I wasn't prepared to sell. Yeah. And there's a link in the description. I call my crypto critical videos. And one of them is called Price Predictions Are Worthless. Just watch that video and I show you how, and you already know this, but it is fun to watch, how every single person that does price predictions was wrong. And the one who got it the most wrong was the guy who was talking to you now. And I made some price predictions that were just god awful. And that's why, like, now when you ask me, like, what's your price prediction? I say, well, Bitcoin will be somewhere between $500 and $5 million by the end of the cycle. And so far, I've been right. It's been awesome. So that's why, because price predictions are worthless. This is true. But it does give us hope, so that's a big thing. Peter says, we will never see 15,500 or 10,000 Bitcoin again. Sub 30K, 40K, not impossible. That's true. Tom Lee was so damn wrong this past market cycle, but he was convincing, and that's more important. I like Tom. I think he's an extremely smart guy. He knows he's navigated the TradFi for quite some time. Just didn't hit it. This is just one of those things that happens. Oh, wow. Green Blue says, I sold some and bought most back at 80,000. Not bad. I mean, if you sold like anything above 100K, congratulations. And that's it. And I'm going to leave it with Jupiter. Let's get out of here. Happy Saturday. Add more MicroStrategy Thursday. Sounds good to me. All right, everybody. That's it for today. Thumbs up, subscribe. Tomorrow we'll be kind of back and forth. We'll have the show Super Bowl Sunday, so we got to get some things done. Anyhow, that's it for today. Thanks much, everybody, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Great rest of your week.